something remarkable happened when Alex Eala returned home to the Philippines. What was expected to be a simple fan event quickly became something much bigger. Thousands of supporters packed the Glorieta Activity Center in Makati, creating an atmosphere that felt more like the celebration of a national sports hero than a routine public appearance. From young tennis players dreaming of following in her footsteps to longtime sports fans waving Philippine flags, the energy inside the venue showed just how much Eala's recent success has captured the country's attention. But why has this homecoming created such an emotional response? How did a young tennis player become one of the biggest sporting stories in the Philippines? And why are some fans beginning to compare the excitement surrounding Alex Eala to the unforgettable national support once seen during Manny Pacquiao's biggest fights? Those questions have sparked conversations across the country. While comparisons to one of the greatest athletes in Philippine history should always be viewed carefully, there's no denying that Eala's recent achievements have inspired a new wave of enthusiasm for tennis. According to the available information, fans began gathering hours before the scheduled event, hoping for a chance to see Eala in person, take a photo, or simply congratulate her after what has been described as a historic run on one of tennis' biggest stages. The excitement didn't happen overnight. Alex Eala has spent years building her career through steady progress, international competition, and relentless hard work. Long before she became one of the most talked about names in Philippine sports, she was already recognized inside tennis circles as one of the country's brightest young talents. However, recent performances on the international stage dramatically expanded her popularity. Her strong showing at Wimbledon introduced millions of sports fans to her story. Many Filipinos who had never closely followed professional tennis suddenly found themselves staying up late to watch her matches, celebrating every victory, and sharing every milestone across social media. That growing attention eventually led to an emotional return home. Instead of quietly celebrating behind closed doors, Eala participated in a public fan event where supporters of all ages could celebrate alongside her. The packed venue reflected not only admiration for her results, but also appreciation for the way she has represented the Philippines on one of the biggest stages in world tennis. And that's where this story becomes even more interesting. However, this homecoming wasn't just about one successful tournament. It became a reflection of how quickly Alex Eala's journey has transformed the perception of tennis in the Philippines. Only months earlier, many casual sports fans knew little about her career. Tennis had always maintained a loyal following in the country, but it rarely dominated national conversation the way basketball or boxing traditionally have. That changed as Eala continued producing impressive performances against some of the world's best players. Her Wimbledon campaign became a defining moment. According to the available information, she made history with several milestones during the tournament, including becoming the first Filipina to achieve multiple landmark accomplishments on the Wimbledon stage. Those victories generated headlines not only in the Philippines but across international tennis media, bringing unprecedented attention to Philippine tennis. But that's only part of the story. What truly impressed many observers wasn't simply the results. It was the way Eala competed. Throughout her matches, she displayed remarkable composure, refusing to look intimidated by higher-ranked opponents. Her aggressive baseline game, intelligent shot selection, and willingness to take calculated risks demonstrated a level of confidence that often separates good players from future stars. That confidence has become one of her defining characteristics. Instead of playing cautiously against elite competition, she consistently looked for opportunities to dictate rallies. Whether facing experienced veterans or Grand Slam champions, her approach remained largely unchanged. That fearless mindset earned respect from analysts and fellow tennis fans around the world. Now here's why this matters. In professional tennis, confidence can be just as important as technical ability. When a young player begins believing she belongs among the sports elite, every tournament becomes another opportunity rather than another obstacle. Many analysts believe Eala has reached that stage of her career. Of course, continued success will still depend on consistency. The women's tour is incredibly competitive, and every week presents a different challenge. Maintaining physical health, adapting to different playing surfaces, and handling increased expectations will all become important parts of her development. However, something even more interesting happened after Wimbledon. Her return to the Philippines became a celebration extending far beyond tennis. According to reports, Eala first received a hero's welcome upon arriving at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, where sports officials and supporters gathered to welcome her home before the public fan event in Makati. She was also recognized by Philippine leaders for representing the country with excellence and professionalism during her international campaign. That level of national recognition highlights just how significant her achievements have become for Philippine sports. Few people notice another important detail. Throughout this entire period, Eala has largely remained focused on gratitude rather than personal celebration. Public appearances have centered on thanking supporters, acknowledging her team, and encouraging young athletes who hope to follow a similar path. That attitude has strengthened the connection many fans already feel toward her. For aspiring tennis players watching across the Philippines, Eala represents more than individual success. She represents proof that athletes from the Philippines can compete against the very best in one of the world's most demanding sports. That inspiration could have long-term effects. Whenever a young athlete breaks new ground, participation in that sport often grows. More children may become interested in tennis. More families may invest in training. More local tournaments may receive attention. Those changes don't happen overnight, but they often begin with one athlete inspiring an entire generation. And that's exactly why comparisons with Manny Pacquiao have started appearing in public conversations. To be clear, those comparisons should be understood carefully. Pacquiao's legacy was built across decades, with world championships, historic victories, and an impact that reached far beyond sports. Alex Eala is still writing her own story, and her career is only beginning. But many fans are not comparing achievements. They're comparing the feeling, the excitement, the national pride, the willingness of Filipinos to rally behind one athlete representing the country on the world stage. According to available reports, organized public watch parties during Wimbledon attracted large crowds in multiple locations, illustrating the growing enthusiasm surrounding her matches. That's an important distinction. Support can grow rapidly when a player inspires hope, but sustaining that support depends on continued dedication and performance. Looking ahead, Eala's focus will almost certainly return to competition. Every tournament presents another opportunity to improve her ranking, gain valuable experience, and continue building momentum against some of the strongest players in women's tennis. There will undoubtedly be tougher matches ahead. There will be victories. There will also be setbacks. That's the reality of professional sports. But if recent months have demonstrated anything, it's that Alex Eala has already shown she belongs in conversations about the future of women's tennis. And judging by the scenes from her homecoming, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. She is no longer carrying only her own ambitions. She is carrying the hopes of millions of Filipinos who now believe that tennis can become another sport where their country can compete on the biggest stage. Whether this becomes the beginning of an even greater chapter remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. Alex Eala's story is far from over, and the tennis world will be watching closely to see what comes next. What do you think? Can Alex Eala continue building on this incredible momentum and reach even greater heights? Share your prediction below.